Hello and welcome back. My name is Steve and we are continuing our Stellaris adventure. Last episode we started the game by playing through the first 5 years, establishing the first 2 outposts, getting our first 2 colonies on our way, and now we want to expand further this episode and set up some more economy on the 2 planets we have, and hopefully find the first contact scenario with the AI, and hopefully managing to get this point here, because this looks like a nice chokehold, strategically speaking. Also like expanding a little bit further to the south. So let's start and increase the speed. I'm going to play fastest. I thought about it to stick with fast.
Technology conceived.
The thing is, when nothing's happening, I can leave the game on the fastest speed anyway, and when something happens, the game usually pauses in single player, so that's not a big deal. Also, if stuff gets too quick, we can still slow down, so I'm not going to fight a war on fastest speed unless I have absolutely this thing won before it began, but that usually doesn't happen. So research this, you pick a new research, so we go with this because that increases our economy. That's picked. So also I will tell you to build another construction ship, because we will need one to go south as well, because we definitely have to expand in both ways.
Is complete.
And it's easier to have a
survey the system.
second ship. Survey the system. Just move here. We're also going to build another science ship, so we just can.
We flee the hostile swarm.
There's a little hostile. Intriguing. We've made first contact. Okay, that is good. So let's send an envoy there to find out who they are. I guess you have to go there. So we're not going to build the next science ship, because we might have to upgrade our fleet in case these are mining drones that are like here and here and just cut us off. So we might have to switch strategies here depending on how exploration goes. So we picked upkeep, and the next thing is, since we're in a little bit of a deficit here, I'm definitely going with more energy credits produced. Then we're definitely going to pick up the complex drone output and the building costs. I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to take the additional housing after that, or if I pick another tradition, because sometimes it can be much more beneficial to leave certain points out if you don't need them right away. I mean, yes, ascension perks are quite useful, but the bonuses you get from traditions might be more important than the things the ascension perks can give you. So that's always a valid strategy, so to keep in mind. So you don't have to keep
Our construction is
finishing one tradition before picking another one. That is really, really important. So and we're done. Build here, because I really want to get at least here. This is nice, but this is a better choke point, because there's only one way in, compared to this one who has 2.
Our construction is complete.
So
Technology conceived.
already move here. So, upon entering, our senses picked up strange readings. Dismissed at first as glorified asteroids, things quickly changed when it was discovered that these entities reacted aggressively to movement in space, even at great distance. Observation of these entities, preferably from a safe distance, is advised. Yes, continue. And more energy credits, that's exactly what I was hoping for, because yeah, expanding costs energy credits.
Technology conceived.
So now I'm going with these instead of those. Both is for increasing our food output. The reason why it shows the hydroponic farms over eco-stimulation is this allows us to build food production in space, which means we can build other districts on our planets. Because if we produce a little bit of food in space, that means we need less agriculture districts, which means we can set up more other things on our planets, which is going to be quite useful.
We have surveyed the system.
That's
Our
good.
construction is complete.
So, also one thing I want to mention is you don't have to research every anomaly you encounter the moment you encounter them. I'm just someone who does that. That's just my personal playstyle. I know it's less efficient than
A new nest is born.
just going out and finding the systems that are valuable to you. So there are different strategies to exploring. Mine is just slow and thorough because yeah, I just like that a lot more than just seeing everything right from the get-go. The entities encountered by our fleets some time ago are new space-borne life forms. While significantly larger than Sidemator's collective corvette, these space amoeba herds are minuscule next to our full corpus.
The others reach out to make contact with our mind.
So these are the amoeba. Yeah, sure, why not? Attic monolithic. Risk 4 is uninhabited and indeed uninhabitable, but not unvisited. Its surface is littered with tall cenotaphs carved from some mineral not native to the planet, evidently placed here by some artistically inclined spacefaring race. The monoliths flowing lines deftly chart a history so fantastical it must surely be fictional. Surely. Ooh, engineering research, that's nice. Oh, it's continued by itself. Yeah, I misplaced my reading classes, by the way, so I had a little bit trouble
Our
reading
construction is
this.
complete.
But I want this episode to record today, so I'm not getting in a pickle because it's supposed to release tomorrow. I would be, yeah, I wouldn't like to have to record on the day I release the episode, because if anything goes wrong with the render or anything like that, I might run into an issue that, yeah, I might not like. So yeah, I decided to record a game where I have to read a lot without my classes, which is totally smart and something I cannot recommend you doing. So, Solar Sailor, an abandoned ship has been left to drift aimlessly above this moon. The massive sails protruding from its hull suggest that it relied on solar power to function. Yeah, research it. So, yeah, we found our precursors, but no hints yet. And we're not going to do the space amoeba thing right now. These are the anomalies we accumulated. So if you ever skip some and want to see which ones you found, they are classified in difficulty, etc. How long it will take, so on. And here's the victory score. Based if you play with a victory year, which you can turn off if you want to. I usually play with the standard victory of 2500, which means you have like 300 years to play. And here are all species you found. Right now we have 703 points and are number 8 in the galaxy. And we can pick up the output of our drones to boost
Our construction is complete.
Economy. Let's build another mining station. Solar Sailor. We have discovered an abandoned solar sail ship in orbit around Difta 3A. The sublight vessel was built by an unknown culture and appears to be several thousand years old. One of the massive sails has a large tear where some kind of object passed through, most likely a meteoroid, which appears to have disabled the vessel. Although the technology of the ship is severely outdated, it does possess some interesting engineering design choices. And we get some more engineering research, which is
a new guest is born.
And we have now 2 colonies. We have 4 jobs available, as you can see. So there's no need to build any buildings or districts. And that always depends on how your colony is established. Sometimes you just have to immediately get a building or at least a city/hive district up and running, so you can deal with the housing or the fact that you're probably really soon are going to have a new pops. Going to have more pops than jobs, but this is not going to be the case for us for now. But it's always important to check and also to see whether or not the planets have useful features, which they both don't. And I think this is going to end up an industrial planet. So we will call it industrial. That's something I do, and I've seen a lot of other people who play the game regularly. They're just putting up names for their planets, for what they are planning to use them for, because that helps you to keep a long-term strategy in mind, because if you have like 10 or 15 planets, it might be a little bit much in order to plan out what you're trying to do. Then another thing I am pretty fast going to do is build a unification center, because we will need more unity to expand, and having a designated planet for that early on is always helpful. So this planet is for unity. I rarely make tech worlds, because that is a specification I don't deem that useful. Simply because having the ability to build research labs a bit faster is nice, and having reduced upkeep is also nice, but from my point of view, it's just better to have other specializations for your planet. For example, if you're making all your buildings research labs, why not make something focused on providing food? So here you have more output, which is way better than having a little bit more reduced upkeep. But that's just my
Our construction is complete.
point of view, especially if you're not playing a hive mind and you have to keep consumer goods on your mind, which we in this game luckily don't have to. So we're going for the economy boost, and now we're buying some alloys. You know what? We can increase our sales of minerals, so we at least now we break even. That is a little bit nicer. So, mushroom picking. A routine ecological study of our colony on Industrial has stumbled upon a strange fungal life form. The science team reports that the surface of the mycelium is shimmering and colorful. But what was most intriguing to them was the fact that separate clusters were seemingly communicating with one another whenever something occurred within a wide radius. Furthermore, the biology of the organism appears to be clearly alien to the ecosystem of the colony. Puzzled, the local science team has requested specialized support, as we might be dealing with a sentient species. So we can dispose of them, or we can take a closer look. And damn it, I'm going to dispose of them because the 1,000 food right now is really good for me, because then I don't have to worry about this as much, and the influence is also going to be quite needed for further expansion. Leak Science Base. Finally, a surface scan of Hiram 4 has identified the remnants of an ancient installation on the planet's surface. Most of the facility was wiped out in a massive explosion some 2 million years ago. But a few outlying buildings more or less survived the blast. All evidence recovered so far points toward this having been some sort of research base built by the First League. That is nice, because that means we found our first clue for our precursors. And we only need 6, so that's really nice.
Our construction is complete.
Yes. So here we will build 2 more corvettes just to increase our military a little bit. And I'm not necessarily planning on fighting. So you can research this, and you can grab this choke point. That is good. Yeah, our colonies are moving along. That's also nice. Magnetic reversal. The magnetic field of Drifter 6 experienced a complete reversal while it was being observed by the science ship. This rare event has interchanged the positions of the planet's magnetic poles. Fortunately, it was all recorded by the sensors of our ship, providing our scientists with a lot of valuable data. Yes, physics research. I take every additional research I
Our
can get.
construction is complete.
Because it's going to be
Our construction is
extremely
complete.
helpful. So these are some minor mining stations.
Our special project is complete.
That's good. We will take a look at this in a moment. We have forgotten to take a closer look at this. And I will build a research lab because I want to increase our research output. It's really slow and I want to get to 500 as fast as I possibly can. And therefore, we definitely need a couple more of those. So, project completed. The archaeological expedition we sent to Hiram 4 has returned. Very little remained of the first League research base they were sent to investigate, but judging by its isolated location, we suspect that the research conducted there was of a dangerous nature, possibly involving dimensional travel or advanced bioweapons. A recovered data disk from the Academy of Science has offered some insight into how the scientific community of the First League was organized. Nice. That gives us our first clue. That is the word what I was looking for. Artifact. It's called artifact in the game. Okay, I always call them clues because I feel that is nicer.
Our construction is complete.
That's nice. Let's grab the research. We now definitely need another science ship because this one is going to expand outwards, and then we send another one after it to research the missing spots. This gets more complicated than I'd like to. I need to see where this leads, because we might have a decent choke point here to fend off this side. And maybe we will just have another one here, but if this is a dead end, that would make this system extremely strategically important.
Our construction is complete.
We will slowly move towards that position. We will slowly build a few
Our
more ships.
construction is complete.
Because that allows us to get more influence. There's a system called power projection, which basically increases the amount of influence per month you can gain depending on how big your fleet is. If you're an empire, so if you have an imperial government, the maximum power projection you can get is increased by 1. So usually you can get 2. As an empire you can get 3, which is nice, but you need to build ships in order to get that, which will increase the upkeep, and so you have to afford it, but if you can afford it you will have increased influence output, which helps with expansion and other things throughout the game. So let's give you, and let's start serving the systems we skipped. And I'm so glad that jobs now can migrate by themselves. So since there wasn't a job available for a long time, this drone was just basically moved to another planet to work there. So here are 3 jobs, here 2, so it landed here in the end. I really like this system that unemployed workers can auto-migrate.
Technology conceived.
This is really good. So there's a new Well, that's here. Okay. New digging site. More energy credits. Let's go with research station output. And
We
yeah,
have found an anomaly.
research. We definitely need to upgrade a few things. So I'm going to upgrade you. Because we should have, yeah, the hydroponics farms relatively soon.
Technology conceived.
Technology conceived, and that is more pop growth. Because we definitely need more food relatively soon. Which is also the reason why I picked the 1000 food, because it really helps right now. Because we have to wait until our planets grow a little bit up in order to have more districts and let the game do what they... So we don't really need this one right now. Production, we don't need this. Having this a little bit cheaper and build speed increased is nice. But for now we're not going to build as many districts and buildings. So let's pick the next tradition. And as second option, we have quite a few that are nice. We could go discovery to boost our science output and the speed in which we can learn new things about the galaxy. Synchronicity is also nice because it would a little bit solve our food issue by reducing the upkeep. And it also allows in more amenities, stability and edict fund, which is all really good for internal politics. And adaptability is also really nice because we can increase our food production, we can make planets more habitable for us, which is not that big of a deal since we are playing as an underground nation, which basically guarantees us a minimum habitability of 50%. But we have 3 building slots, which is really nice. And so there's also a few things. And we have less housing usage, which might help us to replace one hive district with a mining or industrial district, which is also going to be extremely good. So these are really good options. What you always can do is go expansion. Especially if you start the game, I would always recommend using this as your first or second tradition tree, because you get additional population for colonies, which might help to snowball your economy a little bit. You get population growth, and star bases cost less influence, and you have a reduced upkeep and the empire size effect, which is something we will definitely take as a tradition later on. Expansion is going to be our third tradition tree we are picking. And I'm not sure. I mean, supremacy is something you pick if you're planning to go to war, which I'm not really for a long time in this playthrough. So we're going either with adaptability or with synchronicity. I go synchronicity, which gives us the reduced population food upkeep, which is a nice change of pace, because now we have five reduced food per month, so we run out a little bit slower, which is also It's nice. So let's do this. Another lock. So 3 clues. Okay. This takes a long time, but yeah, we do what we can.
We have surveyed the system.
That's nice, and you can go over here. So let's build 2 more corvettes.
Technology
So we
conceived.
have 10 ships. That gives us a little bit more power projection. Now we're at 0.33. New research. Mining subsidies are not important for us because we can build so many mining districts that is not something we will need to increase our output. I'm going with the standardized corvette patterns just in case we are forced into an early game battle and we are forced to build corvettes in order to go to war, which is usually something that
construction
might
is
happen
complete.
depending on... Ooh, these are big
Our
amiibos.
construction is complete.
Yeah, which might happen depending on our neighbors. So if there are some who don't like hive minds or are just extremely aggressive, we might be forced to go to war early, and being able to build our ships faster is really important. So we have a new star base, which will set up a farm first and foremost. And since we don't need an anchorage yet, I'm going with 2 solar panels, just for now to get us out of the deficit and just to produce a little bit more energy credits in the beginning, and later on, as soon as we establish a more stable economy, we will change those to an anchorage. Because then we will need the naval capacity. But right now, the 12 energy credits will be more useful.
Our construction is complete.
Yeah, and that's also something I want to point out. Don't be afraid to switch districts, buildings, or modules of your star bases, because what you build is not necessarily built for the rest of the game. So being a little bit more flexible and just building something that might only help you over a short period of time is way better than just trying to build something that only will pay off in the long term. So replacing is always an option to keep in mind. League Naval Base. The wreckage of what must have been a major First League naval base has been detected in the orbit around Pregla 4A. We know the League maintained a massive fleet called the Grand Navy to combat piracy and safeguard member nations from external aggressors. This particular outpost appears to have provided berthing for one of their rimward patrol
Our
fleets.
situation log is
That's
updated.
nice. What's the next clue? Where is it? Oh, it's down here. That's great, so we can look at this in more detail relatively soon. So let's build the stations and get this. And as soon as I get this, I definitely will upgrade the starbase here to build a defensive starbase. So we already have it, because it takes time to add all these modules to a starbase, and honestly, if you build the stuff too late and you then need it, you might end up in big trouble, and that's definitely something I want to avoid. So, on solar sails, we have found the wreckage of an archaic spaceship of unusual design. Instead of using propulsion similar to that of modern ships, the craft railed on large sails unfurled in the vacuum of space. Presumably, the ship harvested solar energy and drifted on the solar winds created by starlight. Nice. So, okay, so how does it look? There's one available job, that's okay. There's one and there's one, okay. Soon we have to set up new buildings. So let's just build the hive districts because we're going to need them for the housing before we can expand buildings. So let's just get them out of the way right now. We have the funds to do that. So leader upkeep, lifespan. I want stability right now because it's global stability, which is just really nice because the higher the stability is, the higher the output of your planets is. And here, as you can see, it's barely over 50%, so having a boost helps. There are plenty of things that factor in to stability, like amenities, but also how habitable a planet is important. So the less habitable a planet is, yeah, the less
We have surveyed the system.
do your
We have
people
surveyed the system.
like being there, which, yeah, I guess makes sense. I mean, if the environment is too hostile, your population doesn't really like going there.
Our construction is complete.
Yes, so now we have these two up, and we are back in the positive.
Our construction is complete.
So, encounter in Yasmak. We have made first contact with a mysterious aliens in the Yasmak system. We should find out whether they are capable of communicating with us and dedicate a portion of ourselves to translating their language if this proves to be the case. For now, they have been given the designation Beth Aliens. Okay. Please don't be pirates. I don't want to live next to space
Our
pirates.
special project is complete.
Interesting find. Yes. Let's go this way and just build the next science ship because we will need it. We build mining stations. Please don't be raiders.
Technology conceived.
So, let's go this. No. So, I'm really hoping these are not raiders, because having raiders next to you is a real annoyance, especially around the mid game if they become Khans. which might happen, but that's something we'll talk about when we're more around there, when it is a possibility. So we also need another science ship, and that's basically the last thing I want to do for today's episode, because we're already at 40 minutes, which basically just flew by, and I haven't noticed that we're so much over the 25-ish minutes.
Our construction is complete.
I was aiming at.
We have found an anomaly.
Research the anomaly. Path aliens. Although they're trailing on habitat stations, which suggest an advanced society, diplomatic drone, but Hathorn is unsure whether we are indeed dealing with an intelligent life form. They seem unremittingly hostile, so much so that a stable society seems almost unthinkable. Even during our brief period of investigation, we have observed several displays of pure barbarism. They seem to have a language, but our language drones are still working on deciphering it so we can make sense of this display. Okay. Yeah, maybe it's just a system for the mining drones, I really hope. But yeah, we're waiting for... Oh, the science ship is already done. Okay. So the reason why I picked a science ship is because I want to boost our science output with assist research. This gives 10% more research from jobs if we send them to a planet to assist. Right now we have 134, and if we wait, so we have 5 more, which is not much, but the more research labs we build, the more this will impact the thing. Now let's... so that's one pop created. Do this. And then after that, build more research labs. Districts. That's not that important. Unlocking districts is always helpful, but not all features are created equally. As you can see, this one gives us one population, which is going to be really helpful. And we're already at 50, which is nice. But this will do for today. I hope you enjoyed. I had fun, and yeah, I basically, you could say, recorded 2 episodes in one. So that's a thing that is probably going to happen from now on forward, because I know myself, and I'm pretty sure this is going to repeat. But nonetheless, have a nice day. We will see each other in the next episode. Ciao.